And I just put those on the side of it. Sure, I do so. Yes, kind of. I'm going to give them to you right now. I'm gonna go get Martin. Thank you.
Furthering your education is a life-changing.
Right, we are good to go. We are live.
Okay, thank you. We've called to order the September board meeting, regular board meeting of the Board of Directors for Central Oregon Community College. And I would like to start with our native lands acknowledgement. COCC would like to acknowledge that the beautiful lands our campuses reside on are the original homelands of the Wasco and Warm Springs people. They ceded this land to the US government in the Treaty of 1855. The Paiute people were forcibly moved to the Warm Springs Indian Reservation starting in 1879. It is also important to note that the Klamath Trail ran through this region to the Great Celilo Falls Trading Grounds. Descendants of these original people are thriving members of our communities today. We acknowledge and thank the original stewards of this land. May we have a roll call, please?
Yes, we may. Right, COCC Board of Directors meeting September 11th, roll call. Laura Kraska Cooper,
Here.
Erica Scatfold,
Here.
Joe Krinowitz,
Yes.
Alan Unger,
Here.
Aaron Murders,
Here.
Aaron Foot Morgan.
She's really.
Online.
There she is.
Thank you.
Raise your hand. Awesome.
Yeah.
She's here. Perfect. Laura Chesley,
Here.
Zach Boone, present. Laura Bomey. Here. Alicia Moore. Online.
Here on Zoom.
Perfect, thanks. Anne Marie Hemlin,
Here.
Michael Lalonde. Here. And Jessica Gilio. Did I say it right? I didn't say it. Gilio. Gosh, I said it wrong. Sorry. Cindy Leinhardt.
Here.
Is that hard? I'm still learning everybody's names here. Stephanie
Yes.
Getch, thank you. Paul Taylor. Here. Kyle Matthews. Here. Sarah Walcott.
Here.
And I'm Lucas Sullivan.
Okay, thank you very much, Lucas, appreciate it. Does anyone have any agenda changes for us? I would note that we got a revised agenda after the agenda was set out. So if anybody doesn't have that, please see Kyle.
Different than in packet.
Is it?
I thought it was.
Maybe not.
I don't
I
remember
don't
that.
recall. Yeah.
That's okay.
Okay.
I'll go with the flow.
All right, we'll go with, we're gonna,
Okay.
You're the one who needs
as we would
to.
say in Italy, sequilando.
Yeah.
Okay, not me, people that speak Italian. Okay. Public comment, do we have any? No, okay, noting none, we will move to the consent agenda. Has everyone had an opportunity to review? We have two sets of minutes because we had a regular and a special meeting. Has everyone had an opportunity to review those? Yes, okay, any changes or chair will entertain a motion to approve consent agenda?
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Noting none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please indicate by saying no. Noting none, passes unanimously. That moves us to information items, and we've got the monthly budget status. And the question is whether we have questions for Michael, I believe.
And everybody got a spiral bound notebook that's here, and Aaron and Jim, I'll be mailing those to you.
Thank you.
Michael, you're off the hook. Anybody have any questions for Laura Bomey on new hire reports? Noting none, we will move to the Strategic Scheduling Action Project, and I believe Anne Marie, you're leading that. You maybe introduce the folks with you and please take over.
And is someone running our slides for us? Close up. Thank you.
See that online as well.
Okay,
See you there now.
so I, of course, am Anne Marie Hamlin, Vice President of Academic Affairs. With me are Jessica Giglio, Instructional Dean for Transfer, and Instructional Outreach Dean Cindy Lenhart. And we wanted to give you an update on our strategic course scheduling project. I have spoken with you about this before, and we wanted to give you an update for where we are at the beginning of the 24-25 academic year. So we'll move one slide ahead, please. The goal of this project is to develop a student-centered, comprehensive, year-long schedule of classes for all 4 campuses. It's been a big lift thus far, and we're still in the middle of that lift, so keep those muscles strong. But it's an important project for a couple of reasons, and I'll have you move to the next slide, Lucas, because it connects so deeply to 2 aspects of our strategic planning. First of all, to be a student-ready college. The scheduling that we're doing strategically speaking is really going to help us address a diverse set of student needs through this large-scale planning. That we can plan for all 4 campuses at once can really help us get a bigger picture of how we're serving all of our students. And then related to the goal of access, providing students at all 4 campuses a good, solid, reliable schedule for each of the terms for the entire year and online really helps them progress through their programs more efficiently.
All right, our work so far. So this is a 3-year initiative, which is pretty typical of large scale, in-depth kinds of strategic planning. It's going to take us 3 years to get there. And so year 1, which was 22-23, we did a lot of research. We brought a broad, diverse group of people from across the campuses together. We did a lot of planning. We set our goals. We really talked about, what's the challenges that we're facing? Why are we doing this work? And really centered ourselves in that. In year 2, we started really working in a 2-pronged approach. The first part was to really redesign some key processes and policies. The pandemic really disrupted scheduling in general, right? And so coming out of that, we really had to stop and look at what are we doing and how are we doing this work? And so we began to really redesign some of those key processes and policies. And in that, we developed the 24-25 schedule of classes, which is currently out there on the web. It's a year-long schedule. Students can see all of the classes that they have for fall, winter, and spring. So we're hoping that it becomes a real planning tool, not only for faculty in their department to know what they need in terms of instruction and courses, but also for students. And so we've been in the process of doing that. So that was one prong. The second prong was really coming up with a way to do this that didn't involve a spreadsheet that was 4 miles long. Difficult to handle, difficult to do anything with, hard to see, hard for other people to see. And so in the process, we really looked at what is out there in software and technology that can help us. And we centered on a tool called Class, which is CourseLeaf, a product that we currently use for catalogs and other things, scheduling section scheduler. And Jessica's going to show you in a minute what that looks like. Next slide. We are now starting year 3. So the 2 prongs are going to become 1 prong at this point. So we're going to bring all of that together. We are in the final stages of training our faculty and staff, or more specifically staff in our departments. And our department chairs and our program directors to really begin to understand the tool, what the tool can do, how it can work for us. And we're ready to move it into production, probably the end of October, at which point we will develop the summer schedule for 2025, which is a good chance for us to see how the tool works. Is it doing what we want? Are people being able to get in there and do the kinds of things that they want? And through year 3, we will continue to refine those processes and build out the 25-26 schedule of classes starting in January. So we're on target with the change initiatives that we've got, and I'll let Jessica take it from here to talk a little bit about the tool.
And so before we do that, just a little bit more about who's been involved in this process. So kind of the core group is our strategic scheduling team, which includes people from academic affairs, IT, student services, and branch campus representatives. there are faculty, administrators, classified staff. And because class scheduling really impacts so many areas of the college, it was really important for us to have this wide cross-sectional group to bring ideas to and to make sure that a broad range of perspectives and needs are considered as we build the schedule. And that, not yet. So then also faculty, department chairs and program directors are regularly consulted in this work. And we've also had focus groups with areas like financial aid and e-learning and the student government as well. And also almost aside from that, over 90 faculty and staff, really almost all full-time faculty and plenty of adjunct and part-time faculty have really played roles in the schedule building as well. So the true number of participants is even larger than that. Next slide. Okay, so this is how up until this October pilot, that classes have been set up directly in the Banner system. So all of those arrows, which there are, let's see, 17 of them, they point to places where a department administrative assistant has to enter something, some sort of code. They might have to look it up on the website or a document, enter the code, enter it exactly right, so that they can avoid an error that might, if they do make an error, lead to something like a student being charged their own tuition for a class. So pretty serious impacts for any errors that happen in the scheduling process, which means we have to have a lot of oversight and just kind of this repetitive looking at the schedule as it's being built. So go to the next one. So this is the class setup in the class tool. So there's 8 places where information needs to be entered. And in a lot of those places, there's already a common default there. Like, for example, the instructional method defaults to in-person because that's the most common instructional method, although there's a drop-down menu where they will be able to choose other modes. So much more user-friendly and really less error-prone way to set up classes. And so just talking more about what kind of benefits this tool has for the people who are scheduling the classes. So workflows are built into this system, which means that the necessary people are going to have eyes on schedule requests and changes. And there's just going to be better documentation than there has been previously. Like I said, we talked about the big complicated spreadsheets and lots of emails flying around. Now everything lives within a tool. And then these guardrails and presets make things basically a more user-friendly interface and easier to avoid errors. And then it also has some nice reporting tools like what they call heat maps, which is basically just a kind of one screen view where you can see how classes in a scheduling unit in a department or even across the whole college are scheduled across days and times. And so we can work toward better distribution of classes across days and times. And then the way that this tool works with shared access, because interdepartmental collaboration is so key to building schedules that work well for students, the fact that this software supports that well is really important too. Now Cindy's going to talk more about the benefits for students.
Yeah, so in this last one, of course, the most important benefit is really that students have a reliable schedule. So if you step away from the tool, which is what helps staff, faculty and staff really collaborate and build their schedule, what you get is a year-long schedule that students can look at and see, oh, this class is only going to get offered winter term. I need to build that into my schedule rather than finding out spring term that they should have taken it in the winter because they didn't know when it was offered. And so the benefit of having a reliable schedule helps students really plan. Standardizing times and delivery methods so that students know classes are going to start at the top of the hour. They might go over the next hour or the next hour, but they're going to start at the top of the hour and not at 8:05 or 12:45 or whatever. Might make sense in some people's minds, but may not make sense at all to students. We're hoping for fewer schedule conflicts. So we're going to do a lot of interdepartmental collaboration in communication because CTE programs need writing and they need math and they need it offered in certain ways. And so we want to make sure that students can really get the schedule that they need, and we can minimize those conflicts. And also this ability to progress towards their degree and actually complete courses. So one of the benefits of doing this work is that we can really plan, especially at the branch campuses, a reliable schedule of classes. We know from data that offering at least 20 classes in Madras and 20 classes in Prineville results in students being able to see a schedule of classes there and stay in their local communities. They don't pop out and go to Redmond because they can't get all the classes that they need. We're seeing that happen. Remember, we've already developed a 24-25 schedule of classes. There are 21 classes, I was telling Laura, in Prineville this fall. Our enrollments are up 200%.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's important to know that having that predictable schedule and helping departments get to that really benefits students in general.
How many people is that? Like more?
It's almost 150 people now that are registered, which is well over what we had last fall, where we had 12 classes last fall. And we had less than 75 people taking classes. We now are well over 150. And we have a week to go.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it is significant.
Mhm.
It makes a difference.
I think that's our last slide, but we're happy to take questions.
Can I ask a question? Did you
Yeah.
have difficulty getting buy-in from faculty members who now have to teach classes at times they don't want to teach?
Well, I wouldn't say
The
it's always
reason-
the easiest thing, but we really centered the students and because that is at the heart of our faculty too. I think that was.
I do believe that, but the reason I asked the question is that in the past, when I've asked the question about why are we not doing more deliberative? I mean, now I see the scope of the work involved and all the factors you have to integrate, but I always heard, well, you know, there are a lot of faculty members that have, you know, sort of parameters around when they can teach. And so I'm just thrilled to know that, you know, everybody's kind of buying in on this because I think it's phenomenal for our students.
I can add that in that year one, we were very deliberate in bringing in department chairs to the conversation. And particularly department chairs that didn't buy in, right? We didn't just bring the people that wanted to do it. And what was interesting about it is once they stopped and sort of thought about how difficult it was because they were developing a schedule all the time. Every term, they develop a schedule, and they didn't know whether they had part-timers or not. I mean, it was difficult to do that in some departments. And so as we began to identify the issues and sort of talked about the problems, it was very easy to start bringing faculty on board. And there were some really strong faculty voices that then began to carry that forward. So it wasn't just the deans and Anne Marie sort of saying, yeah, this is a good thing. It was faculty saying, we need to do this. We need to do it for our students, but we also need to do it for our faculty because now they know when they're going to teach.
I love that you did that process because that sort of to me reflects the shared governance that's kind of built into our DNA at COCC, right? And I do believe our faculty have our students' best interests in mind. I see that over and over again. So it's really cool that everybody kind of worked together on this. I just commend you. And I'm sorry, I talked first. I shouldn't. You guys have comments and questions? Erin, anything for you?
I'm excited. Good job. Really where we need to go. Budget wise, does it make an impact or? I mean, we can handle it. We want to do it, but
I would say budgetarily, the impact was modest. It's really purchasing and continuing the license for the tool. Beyond that, there has not been an outlay of expenses. It's really a matter of collaborating, talking, communicating, and working pretty diligently together.
I think there's some hidden benefits. So the stuff that Jessica talked about with it's so easy to make an error when you're putting in 18. That costs students that got caught in that accidentally, of course. It was a huge amount of time for department admins to be putting that in. It was a tremendous amount of time for Krista and the instructional specialists when mistakes would happen to go back and There was a lot of, we have to fix it, we have to fix it. And I think with the tool, we've programmed in and it's forced us to really rethink our policies and our procedures to become much more efficient in how we go about doing this process
And more standardized.
and more standardized. And we still have a long way to go with sort of getting that in play. But it matters in terms of efficiency in staff. And then the benefit to students, I think outweighs anything that the tool costs.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think ultimately a better schedule is going to result in better enrollment.
I think it's just incredibly phenomenal that you guys have done this and that everybody has worked with you on this because it sounds like our process is we're gonna get efficiency here, right? Save time, save staff time on these things, can be doing other things. One thing that I have wondered about and that I've asked about through the years, and I know you've asked about this too, because in previous years, we've asked about the efficiency of using our classrooms because sometimes we know there's like, I guess we say 10 to 2 is the favorite time to have classes. And so sometimes you can't even put a class there because, right? It seems to me that this will probably have an added benefit of being more efficient use of our classroom space, right? Because there are big periods of time when there's a bunch of vacant classrooms.
It's an amazing tool because it will actually, and we don't have a program to stop anybody, but it will tell a department where most of their classes are set up. Like, did you know that most of your classes are between this time and that time? And so the tool is incredibly sophisticated in allowing us to design it in a way that will help with that. And I think the work sessions that we've been doing with department chairs and program directors is helping them to see the importance of being able to spread things out and to think about how they assign faculty, because oftentimes faculty may end up going to the branch campuses and they're the only ones that go. And a lot of departments have said, hey, everybody's gotta go, so here's how we're gonna
Spread
do
the
that.
opportunities.
Spread the joy around, and so, yeah. So I think it's allowed the departments to actually do some things that maybe in the past, they've been a little bit hesitant to do.
This dovetails in the student success thing that we've been talking about for several years now. Emery, this is the scheduling that you talked about with us at a previous meeting in the last few months about we extended from Madras to Prineville, the guaranteed classes despite the enrollment. That's part of this,
It
right?
is. We're continuing that pilot while we're developing the schedule and a reliable set of courses at each of those campuses.
Okay, and how do our class times dovetail with the local high schools? So for when we have
Excellent question.
students that are, that can dual enroll.
Yeah. Good question. We haven't moved to the new class times yet. So that'll be something to keep on our radar. We're still using this year, although we planned the whole year, we're still using the conventional start times or zones that we have. So thank you for asking that question.
I just want to make sure it's not completely.
Of course, yeah.
You can't do everything, you cannot do everything at once. I mean,
Right.
I think we got a sense from this presentation tonight how complicated this really is,
Yeah.
right? All the factors that you've got to put in together and integrate.
Right.
And the human factor, that's always the human factor too.
And as you bring this up, I think about the nature of this project overall. We have discovered new things along the way that we needed to pay attention to, that at day one, we weren't necessarily anticipating. So while it'd be nice to be able to say at day one, we've got 3 years of work and all this stuff to do. Things arise all the time that we hadn't really thought our way to do, so we do that.
Which is then more things to do.
Yeah.
Are we the first one to move forward or other colleges looking at this too?
Well, I know there are some college districts are looking at something similar. Chemeketa, for example, is about a year behind us in the same process.
I don't
maybe
think
talks to
Hospital
other.
is anywhere, OSU
OSU.
is dual. Which was a lot of the reason, I mean, they have a really built out for the OSU campus, and so gave us a good model. There are a lot of colleges using this tool, not necessarily in Oregon, but.
Yeah, we started talking a bit with Shemeka, they're kind of helping them in how we got started for them to get started in their own process.
Great.
I'd love just to take a moment to underscore, although 90+ people have contributed to this effort, I just want to call out some special kudos for my team, 2 of which you see here. I'll mention another. Cindy and Jessica have really taken this on and done the lion's share of the leadership moving this forward, keeping the process and project going. I would say Cindy's so strong on strategy and really guides us with the long-term goals in mind. Jessica has been excellent on process and data. And helping us figure out the best ways to make decisions using informed methods like that. A person who's not here is Krista Leaders, the Academic Affairs Office Coordinator, who is one of our technological gurus. And just super helpful in helping us process the back end work that needs to happen and knowing what administrative assistants experience and have to do. And she's been really working on planning the work with them as well. So I just want to call those three out and thank everybody who has been involved in this process.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Great job.
Thank you.
I believe the next item is Stephanie and Sarah talking about our summer youth camps.
It's us. I want to thank Lori for inviting us to talk all things youth camp right now.
Yay.
I am Stephanie Getch, the Director of Community Education, and this is Sarah, sorry, this is Sarah Wall. I am the director, you go up there. Right. Sarah's our new program manager and, but yeah, thank you. This is gonna be exciting. We're gonna talk all things youth camps. So our youth camp, we have a really strong philosophy about why we do youth camps. We want to make youth camps at COCC be equitable and make education equitable and accessible to all youth in all of our communities across Central Oregon. And so we tie our programming to a COCC program that is actually offered at COCC. We get those youth onto the campus at an early age and we get them thinking about, not only can I do this, I can do it in my own backyard. So it's not just high-priced babysitting, it's really making it accessible to them. Not a new idea by any stretch of the imagination, but it was really definitely an underserved area for COCC. Prior to the pandemic, we had a youth programmer that went away, and then in true, post-pandemic, we started coming back in person, excuse my voice. 2022 in person for the first year, kind of piecemealing it together, getting our feet under us. And then enter Sarah Walcott. I will let her tell you what her last 11 months have been like.
Very busy. Yeah. Thank you. We're just 2 weeks out from our the last day of our last youth camp that we offered this summer. It was in Prineville, and that was just 2 little weeks ago. So we're just hot off the tails of a really busy summer.
So she's breathing again.
It's true. We were able to really ramp up our efforts just by putting one person in this designated position. And we just hit the ground running is what we did. And it is really cool to see the youth camps that we offer because they are in a really good differentiated position. Thank you. From Ben Parks and Rec, for example, or other organizations that offer youth student opportunities during the summer and or year round. We don't try to compete with other organizations like Ben Parks and Rec. Our student demographic serves kids ages 10 to 15, which is generally older than other programming. And just like Stephanie said, I should say, we really, we're trying to bring things to the communities that we are serving in those existing facilities, which, gives us a really unique opportunity. What you see on this slide is just a smattering of subject matters that we put together for the summer and fulfilled. Culinary youth camps were super popular this year. We had upwards of 25 separate cooking camps, offering both savory as well as like sweet cooking classes on 2 campuses. Yeah. We hired a total of 9 new instructors for summer programming. One of our 9 instructors is from Prineville and had already cooked in that Prineville kitchen before. If you haven't seen the kitchen at COCC Prineville, it is a gem. It's awesome. And it just has this really cozy feel to it that the kids really get into. So we offered 7 or 8 different camps in Prineville and then the remainder here in Bend. We hired a small handful of recent graduates from the Cascade Culinary Institute, as well as existing students. And The existing students were also able to fulfill many of their internship hours for their certification and or degree programs that they're in. An example of a culinary program includes Foods of the World, where the students learned how to cook a breakfast, lunch, and dinner offering throughout 4 days of the camp. So they are able to take those skills, whether they're 10 or 15, and hopefully cook for themselves sooner than later, and or be able to cook a full meal or a full week of meals for their family. STEM camps and leadership camps, we really ramped those up as well and hired a couple of new instructors to fulfill those. Coming full circle, one of our new hires this summer just did an exceptional job, Patrick Rodriguez. And his second day on the job here as a full-time employee of COCC, so it was really great.
So we just wanted to introduce you guys.
Yeah. It was really great, just, we had nothing but the ability to sing his praises, so we're glad that he's here. Leadership camps included learning about the US Constitution and how the legal system works, in addition to just the court system. Both those camps culminate in a student-led trial. And then last but not least, we had a really great theater arts and creative and theater arts and art just program this summer. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a couple of slides, but we were able to host those camps in all 4 campuses as well. So The Wizard of Oz was the first time that we did a youth production of this magnitude. It was a full-scale production of the musical, The Wizard of Oz, and it was co-directed by a graduate of COCC, Nacho Ruiz, who we very much enjoy working with. And then also his co-director was Anna Christensen, whose mother is the director of COCC Springville, Susie. Yes, and both of them really excelled at what they did, but we really have to thank the foundation for underwriting this. They gave us significant funds that allowed us to offer participation in this youth camp free of cost for 41 students. So
Wow.
it was a big deal.
Thank you, Zach.
Yeah.
Yep, just the steward, nothing.
Those 41 students all came primarily from Madras as well as Prineville, and it culminated, the 5.5-month program culminated in 2 performances at the Madras Performing Arts Theater in the beginning of August. And both Stephanie and I were there, of course, and there were upwards of 300 people in the audience of those nights, so it was really special to see.
So this is our primary mailer for youth camps. This is distributed to all residential households in the district that have children ages 10 to 15. This is how we get people to know that registration is open and to go and look and see what we got. And it's very effective. I will say that I was here 2 years ago talking about our new strategic marketing plan, and it has been really successful because we will show you some numbers here pretty soon. Okay, so this is we'll do a quick summer to summer comparison. This is our 2022 to one at a time. 2022, just coming out of the pandemic, the first year, we're doing pretty strong work. We're doing pretty good for not having any concept of what we were doing or really any plan. We're just kind of throwing things at the wall and so see what's stuck. Go ahead and go to 23. We're maintaining still pretty strong numbers, still nobody really dedicated to it, but a little bit more focus on what we're able to do. 2023, not yet. We're ruining the surprise. I will say that 2023, I had a grant funded position that we allowed 2 of our classified staff members to do some professional development and help out. Gave us a little bit more focus and them an opportunity to say, I don't want to do that work. So Lucas, go for it.
Oh,
Sarah, go for it.
Yeah, it was a busy summer. So we were able to increase the number of camps and as well as enrollment by almost 100%. You can see there on the slide, we had 70 camps total spread throughout all 4 campuses, and we served 868 students. When I first came onto the job, I learned of Stephanie's motto in community education is the sky is the limit. So I just really took that to heart. And
What's the end of that?
And you're the, yeah, we're the sky,
You're the limit.
you're the limit. And then Cindy, when I was in the interviewing process, she also said essentially something to the effect of build it and they will come. Good to great programming, I think you said great programming. Great program will bring people to us in addition to, of course, our dynamic marketing team. So I just think putting all these programs on the books just really attracted the people to what we're doing.
Yeah, I think that Sarah's got it right, that great programming builds enrollment if revenue follows great programming. And we're focused on great programming and those other things fall into line. So this is very evident of very nice work. Yes, oh, thank you.
Nice words.
Thank you. Next one. Okay, so moving forward, where do we want to go? First, we want to maintain the current summer offerings. I think that was a very robust first year out for Sarah. I think those are numbers that if we can do those a couple years in a row, then we look at where's our capacity and where can we grow from there. Part of Sarah's job also is to look at moving us forward into year-long youth programming. So she's looking at early release Wednesdays, school closures, maybe little mini weekend camps throughout the year to keep our youth engaged, to keep them coming back onto campus. And we're finding that parents really want that as well. Standardized rural pricing, we kind of piloted this year. Because of some very generous grant and partnership money, we were able to keep the youth campuses on the rural campuses under $100. Redmond was 99 and Madras Prineville were either 69 or 49. Culinary Camp was a little bit more. So I want to stick with that because I'm finding that those are price points that the community responds to. They can afford a $49 camp if they have multiple children. So if we can just standardize those pricings. And the parents out there know we're gonna be there, it's gonna be affordable. We can enroll our students, I think that's a good strategy. We wanna see more grant partnership money, we've been doing more of that over the years. We have a 3-year, $30,000 grant from Roundhouse Foundation, it's $10,000 for 3 years in a row. That helps us supplement those youth camps and allows us to offer some of them for free, some of them for $49. Not all of them are free across the board. We also have partnership money with Redmond Proficiency Academy. They partner with us and they offer up to 2 free camps for all their students. They pay for that. So we use that money to offset costs in the rural communities as well. This year, that was about $40,000, pretty significant. So that is what is helping us keep those rural camps low while still providing opportunity across all of our communities. And then we just want to continue to recruit qualified instructors, especially in your communities and your branch campuses. So if you guys know of anybody, the communities find it really, they want to learn from their neighbor. So we really want to get out into Crick and Jefferson County and say, who wants to teach these classes in these camps for us? And then Zach, another call to you. We expended, we gave away 37 full scholarships to other underserved youth so that they could attend across the communities.
It's only September.
But yeah, and then I think with the grants and the partnerships, we'll be able to do some more stuff.
Community members and donors love this program, so kudos.
Yeah, so just, yeah, I didn't want to use the call to action, but yes.
Can you make a dedicated donation?
You can.
Talk about all the great things that we're doing out there in the communities. I mean, it'll excite people, especially, and it's not that we're not loving on Ben too, but we just really feel like those rural communities really need to know we're here for you. We're doing this. Go ahead to the next one and just.
Have we thought about doing any in other places where we've got sort of a population base? I mean, I'm thinking like South County or.
So, that, yes and no. Meaning, we're just getting out of the gate. We have a lot of work to do.
Sure, and I don't intend that as a criticism.
No, I know that.
The sky's the limit.
But the sky's the limit. And so, yeah, we'd love to do something out in South County. Once again, we don't have instruction out there. And I think the Parks and Rec is doing a knock dead job with what they're offering to the youth and to the adults. And we don't want to go out there and compete with them. We'd rather enhance what they're already doing.
Absolutely.
Sisters, we could probably get out to Sisters Park and Rec and do some stuff. So, yes, sir. So
In your free time.
here's some of our youth in action, you can look at, and if you have any questions, we're happy to take them.
Of the 70 camps, what would have been like full capacity? So we had 868, was that pretty close to filling the camps, or did you still have space?
It was pretty darn close to
Yeah.
filling them. Most of those camps had a capacity anywhere between 12 and 16 students. We were able to run a few, the lowest end, I think we ran camps with 6 students. There might have been one computer camp where 2 people dropped out last minute and that knocked it down to 4, but we ran the camp anyway.
So these are middle school students. Is this the first exposure that middle school students have had to college? I bet it is. I bet it's a great start
It's
for
pretty
them.
fun. It's a great
Yeah.
start. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
if it's a 10-year-old coming in, probably one of the first exposures. 15-year-olds might have some other exposures in other arenas, because COCC does a number of outreach to high schools or middle schools, but I think it's probably pretty close, and that's one of the reasons we want to do it. We want to get them
To start thinking about
start
college.
thinking about it very early.
Great.
Anything else?
So, how do you tell, the story you just told us, you're talking to the choir. So how do you tell the Madras community, how do you go about raising that flag on the pole and waving it? What do you do, or is that part of the pole?
I think, I mean, in my mind, there's a couple different answers to this. You know, the directors of our campuses are hugely beneficial. So Susie in Prineville, Jeremy Green in Madras. You know, they are going out into those communities, attending Chamber of Commerce events, other events. So, you know, they are a great arm for communicating this. And we also just working, there's a few targeted things we can do with marketing as well, quite a few. We did get quite a bit of media coverage this summer, so it's it's just all part of the big plan is to keep communicating through the arms that we have about what we're doing.
Yeah, and we really do value the partnership with the branch campus directors, because they are in the different community groups. We can't be everywhere doing everything, but we can stay in partnership with them really closely. They all know their communities very well. And they know those, you know, Jeremy did a great job, Susie too, about getting the word out on the Facebook, their social media. Especially when we lowered the prices and made some for free. They really did a big outreach, and it showed in the numbers because the enrollment went straight up.
So every community has the Kiwanis, the Elks, the Lions, all the animal groups. And
Rotary's not an animal group.
It's a type of animal.
so, you know, the suggestion is to get on those circuits, tell a story along with Jeremy. We all know Jeremy.
Mhm.
But I know Stafford, maybe pick one or two a year, but speak with the Kiwanis and the Rotarians, because they do have funds, and they always like to share their dollars that would enhance something that's in.
Yeah, and I would agree, Joe. I think that's a great strategy, and it's getting on Jeremy and Susie's radar to say, hey, invite us along, let us know when that's gonna happen, because we can talk about it in depth, very passionately and in detail. And so that is what is the telling the story is about.
Let's tell a story, and then also they ask, you got Zach trying to teach us how to get the ask. I mean, it won't take much to ask, for example, the Elks. Or the Elks with the Kiwanis. They're always wanting to say, you know, what you're asking, we can say, yes, we can do it, or maybe reduce it, I don't know, just an idea. Because there's gonna be buy-in with the community,
And the communities have been responsive.
I mean, but money-wise.
Yeah, money wise, yeah, we want more money.
Amy, did you have something to say?
I was gonna just mention that, we do work with, DBA, our local advertising agency, and we do digital campaigns specifically for, community ad, but also when we're ready to advertise for youth camps in the spring. So there is a digital, social media component, to marketing that happens each year.
Thanks. It was
Yeah,
great.
that's wonderful. Thank you. Great presentation. Good work, good job on the work you're doing. We appreciate that. I think that's really important for the, future students, but also for the community to see that we're not just here for, people who want to take academic classes.
Yeah.
That's really important. We serve the whole community. So,
They also get to see that education is fun.
Oh,
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, 100%. And I
And they
swear,
can do it.
and I swear I saw an ad for the summer programs in the Central Oregonian. So,
Yeah, there was one, we got a lot of great press for it this week, or this summer, a lot of great press, so you probably saw us all over the place.
yeah, I saw lots of emails and I saw, at my church, they even posted a flyer and so.
We had some.
Well, because my church sponsors a youth camp for a singing, I don't know, anyway. And so there are a lot of kids there, so they put those up too, so.
Well, spread the good word. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank
Great for having us.
you.
Yeah, good job. Okay, that moves us to Board of Director Operations, and I would like to give you an unplanned, well, I planned it, but I didn't tell anybody. Well, Erica knows, but anyway, sorry, it's not some big surprise. I just want to take a moment to say thank you to someone, because we kind of had a little challenges and weren't able to do this before. So Joe served as our chair for the last year. And he did a wonderful job. A lot of the things Joe does are behind the scenes, people don't necessarily see. He's always there at events and he's been a tremendous supporter for the college in Madras as we've been undertaking the new expansion of the campus there, and really instrumental in helping us get the support that we needed in order to make it a reality. And so we really appreciate all the time that you've spent, in particular being our fearless leader last year. So I would like to take a moment just to thank you, Joe, and present you with a plaque.
Thank you very much.
And you can take that off and whack it.
Is it secured? I didn't even.
Well, it's not secure, you pay off.
Okay.
We're all tools within each of our communities as well as the community college, so. It's always a pleasure to work with it. We don't do, at least I don't do it for the accolades, I do it because it's part of my DNA.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Jill. All right, so that brings us to the new board advocacy committee. And Erin, as you guys saw from the, we're gonna get to it a little bit later, the board committee appointments, but I think you all saw it. We are going to have a new board advocacy committee after our second reading, which I'm hoping we're gonna do right now. We had our first read last time, and you guys saw the committee assignments, and so Erin is going to be the chair of that committee. So Erin, do you have anything you'd like to say about this before we undertake the second reading?
Nope. Excellent edits to this, Laura. Love what your additions regarding the importance of following laws regulating lobbying and a few other key points. It looks great and excited for a second reading.
I appreciate that, Erin, but you really took the laboring oar on this. It took a lot of time and research, so thank you for doing that. I think this is one of those things that we've always kind of done a little bit of, but we've never been systematic, and I think we can be more effective by being systematic, so thank you. Okay, so with that said then, would someone move, I think we have to do a motion for the second read, Paul, right? Because this is the actual adoption. Okay, so do we have a motion to approve, or for the second reading and approval of the charge and the description for the advocacy committee?
I'll move second reading and adoption of the COCC advocacy committee as proposed.
I had made a few suggestions.
Can we have a second and then we can have a talk about it?
So seconded.
Second.
Okay, is there discussion?
Yeah, I had made a few made a few suggestions to be added, and I emailed those, and they didn't make their way in here, and so I don't know.
Erin, did you see
That's
that?
okay if it was decided not to add them?
I don't think that's the case.
No, I'm sorry. Erin, did you send them to?
I sent them
couple of us?
to, I believe the policy committee. I was just trying to pull it up
Okay.
to remind myself. So I don't know if once approved, like, can any edits still be made, or is it kind of?
No, we can still make edits, but from a procedure standpoint, I think what I'd suggest, because I think if we're gonna make any substantive edits now, then we'd have to start over again. So maybe my suggestion is that we adopt it, and the committee's got, as you're gonna see at the retreat on Saturday, or you might have if you've already looked at the email, we're gonna be discussing some other policy things then. We could roll that into the next policy changes, if that would be okay.
Great.
And I apologize,
Yeah,
because I
no.
probably got,
It's
if
okay, Erin.
I got it and I just missed it.
Yeah, no problem.
But no, it's not that we rejected them. It is not that we rejected.
Okay,
There've been a lot of emails in the last couple months.
yeah, that,
Yeah.
that sounds great, Laura, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, appreciate that.
Mhm.
Okay, so we have a motion, a second. Is there any further discussion? Noting none, Chair will entertain a motion to approve the second read and adoption of the advocacy committee charge and policy.
I just did that. I thought
Oh,
I,
you did that.
Yeah, we.
I apologize.
Then we,
Second.
now we can.
Now
I'm
we
already
vote.
thinking about the next item. All those in
know.
favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please indicate by saying no. Noting none, motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
I thought you were moving forward and we're just gonna do them all at once.
I'm definitely not doing them all at once. We definitely.
You're gonna be
need to do one
really
at a time.
efficient.
Okay, so now we have the general changes to the board policies, and this is our second read. And Alan found a
Scrivener's
Paul
there.
Paul found a Scrivener's error and Alan found a Scrivener's error. So I think since they're just Scrivener's errors, I think we can still adopt or have the second read and adopt the policies, if everyone has no concerns about them. They are not substantive. So the one Paul found was an errant extra period on the first page under GP governing style. At the end of that paragraph, there's a double period. And that should just be gone. And then on the second page, near the bottom, just above the paragraph above GP3, there is an asterisk in front of any legal representation available to the college. Now that, after reading and rereading this, I don't believe that was intended to refer to any other place where there's an asterisk. You know, often you see the asterisk at the bottom of a page and it's referring to, you know, it's a note or a footnote. And we couldn't find any evidence that it was, and this language seems to belong here and just apply to the up above. And so we think we should just remove the asterisk.
I like the
Great.
Everyone okay? Okay, so then we have a motion to approve the second read and adoption of the changes to the board policies.
So moved.
Second. You get it?
Alan?
Well, Erica too. I don't care.
Okay, however you reflected in the notes. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
Good job. A lot of work.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
It's a red line champion over here.
Yeah.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please indicate by saying no. Okay, motion carries unanimously. Thank you. And thanks everybody for all the hard work and for reading it and providing input. And Erin, I want to give special kudos to Erin Mers because she was the first one who actually read through all of the policies and provided us comments. And she had a couple of really good global ones that sort of modernized. You know, we removed all the language that said he, her, and instead said they, them, which I think is a really good, and there were just a number of things like that she noticed that we were just a little out of date. And so thank you for taking that time.
Thank you.
This kind of work is the thankless work that we do. All right, so the next one is our new board member orientation policy. This is a first reading. So I'm going to turn it over to Erica because she is the one who's really championed this committee from the beginning. And the board kind of said, yep, we think that's a good idea. Go back and adopt a policy for us to consider. And Erica has done a lot of work toward looking at like best practices for this and putting this together. So Erica, if you don't mind, just.
Yeah, I mean, I've Erin Foot-Morgan and Jim Porter were both in the committee, and Lori has done work towards this, so team effort. I see we need an I in topics in the title.
We're the first one, so we can fix that.
So-
I thought it was an acronym.
We should look right at it. So I'll just call that out. So when we we're looking at orientation. We have structured it different ways over the years as new board members have come on. But there has been conversation, or there was conversation in the past about forming this new board member orientation committee and having more structure to it. And so in this past year, it became very apparent that we definitely need this. And so thank you, Erin Foot-Morgan and Jim Porter, for being members of this committee. And you can see that we have a commitment to meet annually in March, and we'll convene to look at the new board member orientation materials and process. And then years that new board members are joining, we've scheduled it in accordance to when they would be elected and then come on to the board. So there are some things that we do around orientation events, meetings, letting them know what the committees are, and so they can start having conversations about which committees they'd like to be part of. And then you can see there's a whole list of topics and materials to be discussed, tours that'll happen with various SLT members, meeting with the chair, vice chair, and president to understand policy governance, and then the board policies. New board members would meet with each board member, and that would be a good practice moving forward to ensure that happens within the first year. New board members would meet with the president. They talk about the strategic plan, goals, action, projects, indicators, institutional dashboard through institutional effectiveness, president's priorities from past 5 years, introduction to major divisions of the college and direct report, shared governance, current issues of importance. And then when they meet individually with each SLT member, we ask that each SLT member do an overview of their areas of oversight, overview of current major projects, and then current issues of importance. So we like to give everybody a little checklist. We don't make it too structured, but at least like something to ensure that you're hitting those points. And then also to connect with our WISP partners, because that's an important relationship. And then to meet with Christy Walker, our Dean of Equity and Wellbeing, so they can understand our DEIB and Student Basic Needs Program.
What's the stand in DEIB? Should it be W?
Inclusion,
Inclusion
diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging.
and belonging.
Yes.
Oh, okay,
Uh-huh.
great.
Yeah, so these are our goal in the committee is to set the individual, the new board member up for after the first year to be a contributing member of the board and to have enough information to feel like they understand what's going on and to have made enough connections that they feel very established on the board. So by the second year, they feel very connected. Okay, any questions?
Yeah, I got a question.
And it's totally open to any feedback.
Okay. I just wondered, was there discussion about branch campuses and having those directors go in front of the new board members?
So
That would
tours,
help, that would help with seeing the big.
yeah, so I didn't say it out loud, but there's tours of the branch campuses to occur prior to the board meetings held there, so with the campus
Okay.
director.
Right,
Yeah, because we do go to every campus every year.
Mhm.
great.
Yes.
Can I ask just that we, in years when there are new board members, that we just spell out committee instead of doing it shortened? Because in our policies, because this is going to go into our policies, and our policies generally have the word spelled out, so. I didn't think you'd care. That's
Very good. No, that's, and we had help typing this up and,
It
this
was
is the
me.
first reading with
Okay.
me.
I'm just gonna say that was me.
So, and we're so grateful for the help, so we are not, but yeah, so please give feedback.
I have a request.
Yes.
I would like to see the board self-evaluation form called out here as a material that new board members review as a new board member.
Oh.
I didn't see that until a year after I had already served, nearly a year. And then I saw kind of what we were being measure it against, and I think it would be great for people to see that.
Oh,
as
so
soon
you're
as
talking
they
about
start.
the tool, not last year's evaluation.
No, the tool, so they know, in 8 months, we're going to be discussing this and evaluating ourselves, here's the criteria by which we do that.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks. And then in that yearly review, right, there'll be updated forms and then we'll add them in and
Yeah.
wonderful.
So you have one item that I might consider adding. On page 8C2, we talk about the president's priorities from the past 5 years. I didn't see anywhere it's list out what the current priorities are for the president.
Oh, be more specific about current.
Well,
Yeah.
at least be aware, the previous board has already established that with the president. And so,
I was thinking that's in there, but I will call it out. I mean, the past 5 years includes whatever they're doing now, but I will happily call it out. And I'm the one who did.
We are. We can always make things more explicit. That's.
I'm not gonna look for a railroad track, but just.
This is great.
Yeah, it's
It's
great.
exciting.
You know,
It
I
is.
think we got all this when we were doing it, so it's good to have policy, but
And it's actually where I got the outline in my head was based off of the orientation that we had originally, and then we've added additional with input from new board members, Aaron and Jim, and as we go along, I don't think there might be an actual binder. I think it's gonna be electronic because there are also links to different websites like the institutional effectiveness dashboards and then resources through OCCA and ECCT. So we'll have something that then somebody can also sort through and have that they can refer to.
And if a person wants it in a blended form.
They can have
that's why we
that.
trial.
Oh, yeah, we can make that happen.
We did. One of the many.
is there an option for, let's just say we have board members who are sort of focused on maybe different areas of the college? We can be flexible to say, oh, yeah, we'll bring in those people to
Oh, definitely.
support the interest. Okay.
Yeah, and either that could be, there could be a conversation with the SLT member that oversees that area of the college, and then they could arrange something, or, initially it could go through the president, so definitely. And maybe that's something that where would you want to make that more explicit?
Oh, I don't know. I
Yeah.
just trying to think out loud.
Yeah,
I put it underneath the new board members meet individually with each SLT member and just call it out somewhere in that.
Okay.
And I think it's smart, Alan, to do that is. New board members, I mean, it's kind of they're going into a new organization, you really don't know the tentacles the organization has. You even ask the question, I'd like to get a little more involved in resources or where the company is.
So maybe any areas of interest and introduction to the leaders of those areas, or some sort of overview or connection. We can work out that language.
Because education is way different than local government and different than everything else.
Yeah.
And, it's sort of something new to wrap your head around.
Can I ask just for clarity's sake?
Yes.
Under meeting with each SLT, it says overview of their areas of oversight.
Yeah.
Which would be like, and so you want me to add,
I think,
the board member may request additional meetings?
yes,
Okay.
yeah, perfect.
I would recommend that we spell out the acronyms that aren't defined, because like you've got the new board member orientation defined, but like VPAA and like SLT, because I know from my time on board with 3 different presidents, those terms change.
Oh, yeah.
So if we spell out what they are, we'll know what the equivalent one is when another president changes titles, which is obviously their purview, and I don't mean to be. Yeah, I just think it'd be nice to identify who that person is and.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Acronyms are, and jargon are what make people feel excluded from conversations.
Right.
Initialisms.
Good example is
Yeah.
the DEIB.
I
Yeah.
didn't know Bologna was a new thing added.
Mhm. I'll let the scribe know.
You'll let the scribe know.
Yeah. I also will help too.
The organization I always thought was great, acronyms of COIC.
Mhm.
They have 7 pages of all their acronyms, all based off of what portion of the departments they're in.
Mhm.
It is amazing, like, thank God they made that, now it's, I was on that board in the 90s. I can't imagine what it's like today.
It's 20 pages.
Yeah.
And it's making me think we might want like a commonly used terms and acronyms slash initialisms to be included. Yeah. Morgan.
college have that?
Or,
You will have
Aaron's
a
nodding
list
her
of acronyms?
I think there's one, Alicia, you can, isn't there, or Amory, isn't there one in our accreditation report?
Oh, there may be, in fact, I think you're right.
I think there is.
So we should
Yeah.
add it to this, we should add it to the policies generally.
Yeah.
So that's something that the policy committee should take up. Because it's gonna apply to the whole set of policies.
be great.
Is that something that someone could provide to the policy committee?
That we can do that.
We can get it to you.
Because we're never gonna be done providing policies.
We love policies, don't we?
Speak for yourself. No, we love them once they're adopted and thoughtful because they guide things, but we don't
Yes.
love the sausage making.
Mhm.
So any more comments or discussion? Okay, thank you guys, great job.
Thank you.
I don't think we have to have a motion, we just need to agree that this is the first read.
And if you have any additional insight requests, please send them our way. And if we don't reply, send another
Send 'em
email.
again.
It's like, I bet yours is just buried in there, not considered, yeah. But definitely we're happy to have any feedback, and the hope is that for the new board members coming on eventually, that we will set them up for success within the first year. It's our gift to the future.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, you guys. So that brings us to board committee appointments, and I worked with Erica and actually got some input from Lori because she had some insight on some of the special talents of our board members that I didn't necessarily have. So we tried to balance the choices that people had. I do apologize to Erin Foot Morgan because I somehow anyway, there was miscommunication, and so she, I think, only got one of her preferences, but she's very graciously agreed to serve on the committees that we've appointed her to. And I do want to have
She
one.
didn't sign off because of that.
I think
Gross, but
Yeah.
she's having.
I think
Very
it's
technical
gross.
difficulties. I do want to, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot and you can say no, but I would like, in looking at all the things that I have to do over the next year, I just selfishly appointed myself as chair of the real estate committee because I love that. But I would really rather not do it if you're willing to continue to chair it.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay, that would be great. Thank you. So that would be the only change to the board committee appointments, if that's okay with everybody. So I don't think we have to adopt it. I think, anyway, I think the chair appoints with the consultation of the members. So thank you, everybody, for sending me your list. And thank you for everybody. I think I heard from most people saying, you know, I'm happy, I will serve. Now, you know, like I said, not everybody got what they wanted, but everybody was really gracious about it. So I appreciate that because there were several assignments that everybody wanted. So, or that a lot of people wanted. And
The good ones.
we just kind of try to spread the wealth. So, okay. So that brings us to the presidential search update. And you know what? I think I might put him on the spot if you don't mind. Zach, do you mind just, because I'm tired of hearing my own voice. Do you mind? Zach is the person who is basically administering and staffing our search committee and process. He's doing what Ron Paredes handled last time. And he's been doing a ton of work and I think working some nights and weekends to keep us on.
I'm gonna sit with Kyle because he's been doing a ton of work with me too.
Perfect.
Thanks, Kyle. Yes, what would you, just a general overview?
Just a general overview of where we are and
Yep.
yeah, next steps.
And thanks to the chair and co-chair of the committees. On next Tuesday, we will have the first meeting of the Presidential Search Advisory Committee. It's a joint meeting with that group and then a call for public input. So the press release going out tomorrow, as you know, it's a team effort. So thanks to our NPR crew for helping with that message. So basically in this room, what we'll do is we'll bring together all of the advisory committee members. We went over that last month, the board approved that sort of profile, and all of the members that we approved, our first choices said yes. I can share that roster with you later if you'd like. We're still waiting to assign a student to the committee, but as you know, students aren't really even back on campus. We've had some outreach, actually talked to a student today about it, so we're hopeful. So that will happen on the 17th from 11 to 1. The intention there, and again, please correct me if I'm wrong, is for the committee to meet, get to know one another, look over the profile, and then bring some public input into the process. So there'll be a Zoom link folks can request, and then I will give that to them for any member of the community, both internally and externally, who wants to be involved. So that's super cool. We have the timeline approved as well, a pretty aggressive timeline. Once we get our I's dotted and our T's crossed, hopefully by this week, the link will be open for folks to apply. We're just waiting on a couple little small things. I think technically on Preston's site, you could apply. But we're gonna have a little banner on our webpage with information about the search. We talked at that special board meeting that we had here on August 20th about what we call the glory page, which is really it's 2 pages, it's 2-sided commercial for the college that our folks at NPR, Joanna, put together. It's beautiful. I think it might be already being used as an example for other searches. It's lovely. I mean, not that we have to really sell ourselves too hard, but we want to showcase who we are for these potential candidates. So that component will be there, how to apply and sort of the instructions for that will all direct them to Dr. Pulliam's website with Gold Hill Associates. Then the committee, we have a timeline we can share if you guys are interested in move over that next Tuesday as well. I don't think we want all board members at that meeting, so because we don't want to have a quorum, but it is a public meeting. So we'll of course have many members there, but we'll share that as well, and I can send that to all of you. Probably just do that as a matter of course in terms of what that looks like. We'd like to have the finalists identified prior to the end of the calendar year, so their visits could occur in the fine month of January. So yeah, that is what we are targeting in terms of that timeline. So it's been very interesting to be out in the community as well, talking to folks about the process. It drives excitement. People are excited about who the next president will be. I just talked to a member of the media today off the record who wanted to know, like, how's it going? Are people already sort of reaching out? I don't know that. Dr. Williams hasn't shared that, but there's been certainly a lot of interest around it. So I think that's just a good sign for the institution. So how's that, Madam Chair?
That's fabulous. I would like to say that thanks to your great work and the work from everybody who's been helping, including Kyle, we are ahead of schedule from last time, which Preston tells us is really important because there are a lot of colleges chasing fewer qualified applicants, and we want the best for the best. So we need to be ahead for that reason. And I know it sounds kind of hideous to think of bringing people on campus in January when we could have ice and snow, but we did it in February last time, so.
Could also be 50. We don't know.
We just work.
We don't know.
Yeah, we just do what we can. And I think one thing that's really nice is this time we are gonna have Zoom options. So, you know, even if someone is unable to, you know, like when we do the public forums, even if people maybe are like, yeah, I don't think I can head out to COCC at 5 o'clock on a nice evening, they can go on Zoom, so.
So once we have that banner on our website, I'll send that out, or Erica and Laura can send that out so all the board members can see it. You never know who might reach out to you about this. Obviously, everyone has to go through the same portal to apply, but want to share that far and wide. And I think the only other thing I would mention, again, if you would like to know who is on the Presidential Advisory Committee, I can send that out, or I can read that now, but all of the folks that we asked, all the folks that Laura and Erica asked, said yes on the first ask. So that's great. Erin, you might have missed that. Welcome back. Just an update on the search. Oh, she's frozen again. She might be gone. I can give you all those updates later if you'd like. Just shoot me an email.
Great.
Yeah.
All good.
Yeah, and I think
Out
that
here waiting 6.
Great.
I think that, so for the public comment, we are hoping to have people that have opinions come and share them with us. And we've approved the presidential profile, right? We already have our glory page and we're starting the search, but we want to hear what we should be thinking about. And the reason we're including the search committee is we feel really good about the search committee. We're excited, they're excited. And for all of us to hear community input would be a good way to get us off started and talking and having those conversations, so.
Yeah, I feel really good about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a ton of emails and stuff.
I know, I was trying to think about a better way, but oh well.
No, that's, it is.
Sort of
I
the
think
world we live in.
It is the world we live in. It's unavoidable. And I appreciate that you send us texts when you say, hey, this one's might have slipped through the cracks, but it's important.
That's.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right, and we are remembering that this is an advisory committee. We
Yes.
obviously find what they're doing very important and we want to hear from them. But the ultimate decision is the board's decision because it's our legal obligation actually to hire the next president. So just make that clear. Okay, thank you, Zach.
you.
Appreciate it. And thank you for all the help that you've gotten from Lucas and from Mark and from Kyle. And I'm sure there's a cast of others.
There are others, team approach. You're welcome.
Yes. All right, great. So that moves us to board member activities. And let's start with,
I'm happy to start. Can I ask a question about committees? I'm so sorry.
oh yeah, of course.
I think it's a brief one. So advocacy new committee is under consultative committee headline, and I was just curious as to what that means. And how it maybe differs from
A standing committee.
a standing committee. Thank you.
I'm actually not sure why it was put there. This is not a formal like thing that we adopted.
Okay, okay.
Do you have any idea?
I don't know. I was wondering that too, because I was like, are there still 8 committees? Because we retired one and then I saw that we had 8 and then I saw the consultative. But I think it's.
We
it
retired
will be
one and we added
one.
two, new board
Oh,
member
no.
orientation.
We had added that previously and then it got off the ground. So it's
Oh.
like, yeah, there's been some.
Yeah, I don't know if it was an error or if I'm just curious as a member of that committee, what would be.
Yeah, I think it should be, I think that's a good point. It should be standing. I don't think we need to take any action to do that. And when I was appointing or when I was writing out the list that then I discussed with Erica and then with Erica and Lori, it was a separate standalone piece of paper and then Kyle made it all pretty. So he just used the template that we had before.
Okay.
And so I'm not sure why it's under there, but I agree it ought to be a standing committee. Because that's what we want it to be.
Our assistants helped us a lot. We're very grateful for that.
We are. I mean, I want to be clear that Kyle was helping us out and we
Yes,
gave
he
him
was
zero
helping.
direction.
Yes.
So-
Yeah, so I
So
think.
thank you, Kyle. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
didn't see
I
it and I
appreciate your great
wondered
work.
and yeah,
Okay,
but I think it was just
okay,
we
so.
had assistants, which was, we were very grateful
Your
for.
aggregated policies say you have 10 committees and they're all lumped together and advocacy is one of them.
Okay,
So Kyle, one question for us, please. If you would mind, changing Joe as the chair of the real estate committee.
Yep.
And just so everyone knows, Alan has graciously agreed to be the alternative in the real estate committee. Not just when I have the conflicts, but also if anybody else isn't able to meet. And it's really great because he's been on that committee before and understands the issues and stuff, so. Thank you for asking that question, Aaron. That's a good one. We'll fix it. Do you mind starting with the activities?
We'll look at that later. Don't mind. On August 20th, I attended the special meeting for the presidential search. On August 24th, I think I had mentioned I'm trying to attend neighborhood association meetings in my district, or I'm sorry, in my zone. So I went to Mountain View to kind of see what they're up to. A lot of conversation about high density housing, parking, crosswalks. And then on September 4th, I went to the Student Success Committee meeting. That's all.
Joe?
I have, the COC, August 1st, COCC Audit Finance Committee. August 20th, the board special meeting in regards to our search for a president with a new consultant. And that's all I have to report.
Thank you. Erica?
on July 31st, I had a call with Zach about the presidential search committee and the profile on, and I'm sure I'm missing things because there's been a lot of calls and like. And then August 20th, there's the COCC board special meeting. On August 21st, there was our COCC search committee calls, and then the calls just, there's probably like 10 or 15 of them that are in there over the next like week or two. On August 26th, we had another presidential search meeting. Am I getting these right, Laura? Because I was
Yeah,
like,
I didn't have the
trying to, like-
21st, but you're missing the 13th and the 16th.
Oh, okay, well, let's add those in.
Okay, the 13th was a search committee call with Zach and Preston, Erica and me. And the 16th was our regular check-in with Lori, you and me and Lori phone call.
Okay, I think it's the 21st is when I started making calls, so I had like noted it in my calendar. Okay, and then on the 28th, I spoke with Joanne Matthews about the Strengths Finder exercise that we'll do in our November retreat meeting, and I'm very excited about it. I'm excited that Joanne's gonna do it. She did an excellent job previously. On the 4th of September, I had lunch with Lori and Laura. And then also on the 4th, we had a student success committee meeting. And then on last night, I met with Laura and Erin Foot Morgan. It was lovely. We had a lovely conversation about retreats and committees.
She's gonna miss the retreat, so we were, but. Thank you, Erica. Alan?
So this has been a light summer for me. I'm happy that you did all you did. But I'll reference the special board meeting that Erica referenced and the audit and finance committee that Joe referenced. That way I don't have to tell you what they say.
Thank you, Alan. So I had the meetings regarding the search committee on the 13th and the 16th, no, the 13th, sorry, and on the 26th and the 27th. And on the 16th, I had the call, the regular calls that we do with Lori and Erica, and the special board meeting on the 20th of August. Let's see, the 26th, I already said, and the 27th, both search things. Then from the 27th to the 29th, I made a bunch of calls to the committee members. And then on the 4th of September, lunch with Lori and Erica. On the 4th of September, also, I had a call with the Bulletin. The reporter is doing sort of a retrospective on COCC's 75th anniversary. So that's going to come later, but she's doing a bunch of calls and research and stuff. And that was a great conversation. She's terrific and had some really great questions. And Lori was able to help me direct her to some other folks at COCC who could give her some history and some more information. On the 10th of September, I met last night. That was with Erica and Erin Foot Morgan, because Erin is not going to be able to make it to the retreat. So we filled her in on some of the things that we're going to be talking about. And then on the 11th, I guess that would be today, I had a call with Preston. And then like with Erica, we've had literally hundreds of calls and emails relating to preparing for this and also preparing for the retreat. So hope you all are really excited about our retreat.
I also had a meeting with Jim Porter to catch him up because he's had some family issues that he's had to attend to that are, we all have them at certain times. So I'll get you the date, Kyle.
Sounds
On
good.
that too.
Okay, Lori, that brings us to the president's report. Erin's still not back on, right?
No.
Okay,
No.
I didn't want to ignore her.
Well, this morning was the fall kickoff celebration, meeting. Fun times were had by all. Our kickoff day. I'm not kidding. It was very enjoyable. I've already heard really nice things about.
I already heard the food was good.
Costumes,
Pardon?
costumes. I mean, the last fun thing was costumes.
Oh,
Why not?
that
That
comes up, and I want to specifically thank Cindy Leonard, because if she's not busy enough with everything else, she was the chair of the planning committee for
With a great team effort, truly team.
so I thought it was really nice. And the theme was let the adventure begin. In other good news, we all get the Monday enrollment summary, and compared to this point in time last year, our FTE is up 8.8%.
Great.
And our head count is up 19.8.
Fabulous.
Which that one kind of blew my mind. I have to go chat with some of our folks and just make sure that's not a mistake, but they're good, so I don't think it's a mistake.
So our FTE, that's the
8 point what?
8.8, so
I call that 9.
I call it 9.
so and then our attendance is up 19. Or head count.
The number of individual students who enroll is up 19.
So it tells, is that just people just taking an individual course, or is it?
Could be anything.
Okay.
Could be a course, could be a full load,
All right.
but we have a preponderance of part-time students. So that's good news. Alicia, do you want to add anything on your end?
I do. We got Well, we got some exciting, what we thought was exciting news yesterday, but to confirm it, I couldn't log into the Department of Ed's website. They deactivated my account, but we got in this morning.
I'm gonna share that. Wait,
What else did you want me to share?
I didn't
That's my-
about enrollment.
Oh, I was jumping ahead.
You share that?
Yeah, no, enrollment's looking great. We still have 2 more advising and registration days to go for this quarter, with lots of students signed up from across our district. And yeah, the head count and growth is all over the place. We can't really just pinpoint it into one area. Continuing credit students tend to be the biggest growth, but we're seeing growth in community education at all of our campuses and in our non-credit, all of our non-credit areas. So it's pretty exciting to see people really re-engage with COCC. I thought I was going to tell the other good news.
Well, don't worry, I'm gonna give you credit. Don't worry. So I saved the best for last, and it is really exciting. And yesterday, a few of us got a notice from the federal government, which was good news. And it isn't always, let's just be clear. That we had been awarded a grant. And we had to, Alicia or Sean had to get into the system and see what that was. And Alicia's texting me like, I can't get in. I can't get in. It's gotta be this or this. It's gotta be this. So this morning she got to work early, got in, and she texted me the good news, which is that we got the Title III grant.
Oh,
Wow, fabulous. That is roughly $450,000 a year for 5 years. So little south of $2.5 million. And it is to do a number of things across the college. So I think the important thing to note here is how many people were involved in writing this grant and how many people are going to be involved in implementing this grant.
Excuse me, could you refresh my memory? Title III is what?
It's a federal strengthening institutions grant.
Okay, thank you.
And I can tell you what they're funding for us too. So it can be a lot of different things to different institutions. It's going to fund our student well-being center that we've wanted to do for a while, or at least part of it. It's going to help.
Zach will find the rest of the money.
Yeah, Zach, we just go to him.
Yeah, Sean.
It's gonna allow us to further continue and bolster our guided pathways initiative. It is going to allow us to further strengthen and bolster our teaching and learning center, which is called CAFE, which stands for Center
For advancing faculty excellence.
for Advancing Faculty Excellence. And I think Laura's more excited about this maybe than I am. I think it's kind of the least sexy thing, but it's super important. We are going to be able to purchase a data warehouse to help us better have our systems talk with one another in one central place, make it easier to access data, make it easier eventually for folks to not have to maybe ask IE for all the data, but they can start to learn to go get it themselves.
I would think Michael would like that just because it would be, you know, his desire for modernizing in systems.
It's that too, again, you know.
That's fantastic.
And Laura, do you want to explain that any better than I did? Because I know I'm pretty shaky on my whole data thing.
I'm not certain anyone wants to know it better, but.
I'm giving you a chance.
Job, you did a great job. So one of the other groups that will really benefit is institutional effectiveness. They do a lot of our reporting, so but in essence, it's a. You know what it is.
I have a question. Is it purely a data warehouse, or will you be using any AI with it too to help mine the data? So is it just pulling of the? Yes.
Good question. So while I would like to think that part of our efforts sent good vibes out to the universe for the Title III grant. We prepared, and I'm giving Chris Egertson and IE a ton of credit. An RFQ that we have put out with requirements for this, and the irony is that it literally closed on Friday, the RFQ, and so with that, what you mentioned, the AI piece is one of the, it is not a requirement of the system, but it is a capability that we asked for the vendors to provide us information. And we got a number of very qualified respondents. And so we're in the process of looking. So, but now that we have some additional knowledge on the grant, that sets us up very well for hopefully implementing this whenever we can. I don't know when that timeline is.
I got about a 5-year period. We'll figure it out. And I did mention that this was a grant which required the work of many, many people. And today at kickoff, I particularly called out Sean Tevlin, the wizard of grant writing at COCC. And I'm kind of cautious about calling you out, but I also know how much time Alicia Moore spent with this. So I'm sorry I didn't let you give the good news, but I was gonna give it, but I'm gonna.
President.
But, you know, I remember her working late and getting this done by the deadline, and it's just a lot. And so, you know, I'm just, you know, I'm just so proud of an institution that wants to improve and wants to do more and more for our students and work hard to get it. That's golden, and it's why you're going to get some great presidential candidates.
It is, I mean, it's incredibly fantastic news, and on top of the updates that we got today about, you know, our strategic scheduling and about the camps, it's just, well, I think sometimes we get bogged down in the details of what we do, you know, as a board, and I don't think we always fully appreciate how awesome this community college is and the community that supports it. That's pretty amazing. I hope we're gonna let the world know about it.
I feel like the awesomeness is everywhere.
I mean, think about how impactful our last big grant like that was, right?
Oh, the last one, and this is not an easy grant to get. And now, Alicia, I'm gonna have you tell the dramatic story of how the fund down and missing it by 0.6. Because it helps, that's the good part of the story.
I think we shared this about a year ago, but yeah, initially we missed it by 0.66 points, which is just a fabulous feeling. And one of the 3 evaluators who reviewed the grant, if you remember, I see Erica shaking her head, didn't review our grant. They reviewed somebody else's, but we got their points. So this is a little bit vindicating here a year later to get that, but it's an exciting piece. And this funding down process is common with this grant. So I'm just thrilled for all the energy and work that everybody put into it and what this is going to do for the college so that we can best serve our students.
And more good news, if you recall, we had allocated some of the Kai's Trust money in the event that we didn't get this grant. And now that we received this grant, we can reallocate that money for something else at the college.
Do other good things.
Yeah, so great news.
Wonderful.
Oh, that's it.
That's
Oh my God, I
That's
saved
a
it.
big bag.
I was saving that for last, and that's all I got.
Okay, so that brings us to dates. Y'all know we've got a retreat on Saturday. It is not here. It's in Cascades Hall, which if memory serves is where OSU used to be.
Yes.
Okay. And so we'll see you bright and early at 8 o'clock. Yeah, my daughter laughed and said, they think you're gonna be in bed at 8? Anyway, then, of course, we've got some committee meetings and wanted to make sure that everybody knows that we have the second retreat coming up. I know you got, one note about the next meeting in October, it's in Redmond. We're going to Redmond, and are we gonna be able to have, do you know, a tour, like we'll have dinner beforehand? Will we be able to get another tour like we did last year? Okay, perfect. And so then the board meeting, or the board of directors' second retreat, because you guys remember we had so much that came out of our summer retreat, we had to schedule 2. So that one will be November 1st, and that's gonna be a TBA. We'll get back to you on the location soon, but I just want to make sure everybody keeps both of those retreats on your agenda or on your schedules, and that we don't forget on the October meeting that we go to Redmond, so someone doesn't accidentally show up here.
It happens. I mean, I think it's always the last minute where someone's like, see you in Redmond, and I'm like, yes.
Same, same. I think I was on a Zoom call once because I messed up that. So anyway, but I didn't admit it at the time, now I'm admitting it. Does anybody have anything else? Oh,
Yeah, one more point about committees, so the investment committee is missing from this new list. It's in the policies, but it's not on this new committee list you circulated.
So that's not a board.
It's not a board committee.
it's not a board committee, but we are gonna appoint a board member to it though. And I guess I have to talk with,
Cause I had asked this question, I forget what the
Yeah.
answer is, but like,
yeah,
we
because I
talked
think we
about
had
it.
several people who wanted to do it, so I think we all kind of have to chat about that.
I think we need
Okay.
to look at the charge again, so it might need to be included on here, cause remember we talked about it, but then we have a whole long list of things we talked about. Good catch, Erin.
And so to that point, it is listed in our policies under board committees, so then
Yeah,
does
yeah,
that
yeah,
need to be-
Except that it's only gonna have one, and it's gonna be advisory to us, so it's really like an well, I guess all of our.
Is it a
committees are technically
liaison?
advisory. No, I think it probably is a standing committee. It just happens to have a makeup that's one board member and two members of the public that
Yeah.
Michael coordinates with. And I guess we probably have to approve the makeup of the committee.
You
Can
know
we
what,
make-
we got
can we come
2
back
out
to
of
that
3
town
on
meeting?
here,
That-
we did pretty good. There's been a
know.
lot of new committees, but good
Yeah, no,
catch, because I
think if
remember.
it was,
We are
I
doing
didn't know it was an
big
error,
changes, big
that
changes.
it was missing, so.
No, that's a good
it.
idea.
No more on committees for me.
No, that's a good catch, because we even had a conversation about it and then.
Can I talk with, Erica and I talk to both of you about that?
Sure.
We'll look at the committee assignments, because there were several people. I think you were interested, Jim Porter was interested, and I was interested. And no.
Not me, Aaron from Maury may have been.
No,
Actually,
I don't think
wasn't
she
me.
was interested. Anyway, we'll figure it out.
Okay.
Yes.
And then thank you for everybody who's catching things and providing edits. There's been a flurry of things.
It's been fast and
Yes.
furious.
But we do have a beautiful presidential profile and glory page that is being used.
Right.
We do, our Zach and our.
Minor oversights,
Yeah.
I mean, you consider the hundreds of edits that have been made to things, not too bad.
Team effort.
Yeah.
Everybody's here for.
Yeah, Zach and our folks in the Lucas shop have done
NPR,
a
yeah.
really, thank you, I'm sorry, it's
Good, you're good.
it's not even that late, but yeah, have done a really good job of helping us, so thank you, because doing this is a huge undertaking for the whole college, right? It's not just the board, and the people, we were adding up because Zach has to ask a student, and we have to give them a realistic time commitment. And we added it up, all of the time that you have to spend reviewing applications and doing Zoom interviews and deliberating and drafting questions. Because we as a group come up with all the questions and negotiate them and discuss them. And with, 16 people, you have lots of different opinions. And it was somewhere between 50 and 60 hours of, And so it's a big commitment from folks. And we're really lucky that everyone was willing to serve.
Does it have to be a student? What if it was a student that graduated last year and knows the college better than someone who comes in now new? And is experienced?
Well, what Zach's looking for is a returning student. So who was here last year.
Okay,
Who could kind of speak to real-time needs and hopefully be talking to other students on campus now
Okay.
about real-time stuff, things.
We'll also be sure to add NPR to your list of acronyms for them.
Yes, that would be fantastic. And I think the other thing about Lori and I have talked about lots of phone calls and, people have agreed to do the advisory committee. And thank you if you're out there or can hear us, to everybody who answered our calls and returned them.
And emails and.
Are going to rearrange their schedules and to contribute to this this effort, because we were really excited about who we thought could be on the committee, and I feel like after talking to each individual, we're even more excited about it. So we hope, everybody is.
The reaction of the folks that Eric and I kind of split up, who was going to contact whom, and the reaction of the folks that I talked to was uniformly, wow, what an honor to be asked to do this. This is so important, and I'm really grateful and appreciative. There was one person that I talked to who said, I'd love to do it. I got to talk to my employer because it's going to take time from my office. When they went and talked to the employer, and the employer's like, we would get a bit of say in this? Yes, absolutely. You must do this. So I thought that was very, very cool. And that goes not just for the external people, but the people on campus whom we asked. They were really enthusiastic and understand the importance of what we're undertaking. And
Yeah, and they're gonna be great contributors. So
Yeah.
it's.
Yeah, we got people who are not shy about expressing different opinions, which is fantastic.
Mhm.
Anybody have anything else for the good of the order?
So this meeting, we had the closed captioner and the English captioner. What's the English captioner?
I believe that they were probably sharing the role this evening.
Okay,
So I think we started with the English captioner, they probably has moved over to the closed captioner. And it's
It's the same thing.
It's the same service.
okay.
My guess is that they just had two different people sharing the load this evening.
I thought there was something new and I couldn't figure
No,
out
I
why.
don't think so, I don't think
Okay.
so.
Okay.
Well, good job, everybody.
Yeah,
Right.
good job, Kyle.
Yeah, great job, Kyle. Well, thank you, everybody, for taking the time to be here. We appreciate you and we are adjourned. Hey, Alan, do you have a second? I
Yeah.
just wanted to go over the question you asked me earlier because I pulled up the ORS provisions.
Oh, yeah.
So, the community college